We're talking about our Auticulate group. My name is Tess Eagles and I work for Parenting Special Children, and I'm joined by one of the young people who attends our senior Auticulate group. So we all come together at Auticulate, and what do we start with when we normally sit in a circle?
Usually we start with news. We share things that have happened over the past 2 weeks that we can remember, and it can go in some very interesting ways with people sharing their own experiences with a similar thing, remembering things that they have otherwise forgotten, and referencing in jokes.
And with the in-jokes, are they things that, like, you and the young people just have these jokes between yourself? Can you give us an example?
One of the jokes was made up by someone who joined fairly recently, and it is, we do not talk about what happened in the Congo. So Congo in-jokes have become one of the common things we have.
That kind of sounds like a lot of fun. But the main thing is, when you're doing that, I'm thinking that everybody feels kind of quite comfortable and maybe a little bit less anxious, because it's that friendly environment, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the jokes and us being able to laugh off with each other really does help us all feel a bit more connected.
Yeah, connected's a really good word actually, because that is kind of part of the group, having that safe space for people to come together. When people share their experiences, obviously the staff team are there to help anyone, especially if it was a difficult experience, like if somebody had been bullying. But do the group help each other as well?
Yeah, we often say and tell stories about when we felt that specific way, or at least a similar way, and maybe show, like, this is how we dealt with it, or this is how it ended up, and give it advice that the instructors also comment on, because we kids, we can't give perfect advice.
No, but it's really important that everybody feels like that, you know, you're in that place, that you feel comfortable giving that advice and opening up, because when you're not just giving advice to someone else, but someone in the group might be opening up about their own personal experience as well, isn't it? With the after your news, what do you normally do then next? What comes next?
We usually introduce the topic we're going to talk about out at that session, and usually there's a bit of like, do you know what this word is?
Okay. And interesting enough, how are the topics chosen? Do, like, you as a young person and your peers in the group, do you have a say in what topics they are?
Yeah, quite often they'll, like, in one of the sessions they'll like ask, what topics would you like to cover in the future, and they pick the ones that come up most often and then put them in the next terms.
Okay. Gosh, that sounds like really good, because actually it must make, or does it make, young people feel like really listened to, especially if for example there was a topic like emotional regulation, or bullying, or just self-advocacy, or planning, that, and they felt they were really being listened to, and that would be part of the next term's work.
I do think it helps people feel like they're being listened to.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you do some planning as well for activities out in kind of in the wider world, not just in the hall?
Yeah, I think usually at the end of term we have a sort of like go out into the world, practice things and have fun together, and we often plan at least like how we're going to get there, what do we do. In one case we all agreed to go to a bowling alley, and that was fun.
And when you went to the bowling alley, was that the time you went on the train? You went on the train recently, was that right?
Yeah, one of the times we decided to go by train in there, so that we had experience on ordering train tickets and such.
And in the group, did you practice and have a little bit of a think of how you would get the train, what time the train is? Did you do that all in the group?
Yeah, we did do a bit of research onto which trains which are at that specific time, and which one was best for when we wanted to arrive at our location.
The bowling alley. Did you enjoy that as well as the actual train journey?
Yeah, I did like discussing, okay, it's this train with this, train. Which one's better?
Yeah. Okay. And that's great. And do you think that kind of helped your confidence doing all of that practice and going on the train with the group to maybe think in the future, like say for example, if you're thinking about college, that maybe you could go on the train on your own in the future?
Yeah, it did help that we were able to find trains that would get us where we need to go in various times, so we could plan around that.
Great. Thank you very much for giving us a bit of an insight into the Auticulated group. If anyone was watching this video and wanted to join the Auticulated group, would you say it would be a good idea, yes or no?
I'd say it's a pretty good idea. I mean, it's always good to have an outside perspective on what you're going through, and the experts are often to be listened to if it is in their subjective field.
Right. Thank you very much.